Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another video. How to measure your game. And this is kind of a follow-up to a recent video by Alan Roger Curry. I gotta laugh because you get that brother fired up. That's where you got the game. You gonna find out what's really going on out there. That dude come at it raw. You know, I'm thinking about like making up a troll email account, getting a YouTube page, or be able to post or something, and then just talk some shit in his comments just to get him fired up, and then have a notebook out ready. Oh my goodness. And yeah, that be people, the brother be letting y'all know, for people who know, Kappa. I actually got respect for Kappas, because if I had pledged, according to some Deltas and some AKAs, they said, Rom, you Kappa, ain't you? It's like, nah. Most I did, I partied at this one college with some Kappas. I was like the only non-Kappa in the room, or, you know, the place they were partying and stuff. And, you know, that's because I'm cool like that. You know, I could roll with frats even though I ain't frat. Okay. You got it, right? Anyway, he just did this video, The Public Frustrations of Delusional Men Who Can't Get Laid. And one part I wanted to like kind of piggyback on when he was talking about total alpha males and how, you know, they get theirs, they don't have to pay. All they have to do really is bring their dick to the party. That's it. And it's funny he say that because, you know, I know a lot of people who really don't understand game think, you know, Alan Roger Curry or even myself or maybe even some other folks in this dating coach thing actually think that we making up stuff. But, you know, that's always been the game. I thought that was normal coming up because coming up, and for people from D.C., y'all know Anacostia, North Michigan Park. You know how I got down around there, but that was the game. How much pussy could you get without having to pay money? That was the game. And the women had their game too. Their game was how much money they could get out of you without having to give up anything. That was the game. And you know what? That's why I don't really trip off of gold digger type of women, you know, men called gold diggers or women insisting and shit. That's really just part of the game, man. You know, that's it. You know, game respect game, you know, players respect players. A lot of women on that player thing. Because I've had some women in the past, they were getting money out of somebody and giving it to me or hooking me up or something. Shit, they had one woman, she was ready to give me a Mercedes, but I ain't feel like fixing that joint up. So, it's like some dude that gave her. You know, but that's the game. See, coming up, right? You know, and I'll address the first two parts, the total alpha male that Alan Roger Curry was talking about, and also the alpha male with beta tendencies, right? Mostly alpha male, but got some beta tendencies. Because the correlations I got are Mr. Goodbar and the Masked Man. You know, Mr. Goodbar is that dude who get it without doing much of anything. And then... you know, the masked man, that mask is his money, his status, anything. Because when women deal with that type of man, they're looking at that. Now, I've seen both sides of that. See, coming up, like, I started seeing that in high school. Like, for people who know, I went to Archbishop Carroll High School in the 80s when the football team was dominant. So it's like you go to a party, it was an all-boys school. So, you know, if we wanted women, we had to do two things. We either had to find some party somewhere, or, you know, since it's DC, go to the go-go. Yeah, I know DC folk know about the go-go, right? Go to the go-go. Or, you know, if you see somebody on the street, you basically had to, as we said back in the day, book her right there. You know, get that number right there. So you had to have like a rap or something. Now, see, back then, Rom's game was, going to Carroll itself was a status thing. You just said that was good to get you a phone number from a woman, but you still had to close the deal, you know? Or you go to a party, it's like, what school you go to? Carroll. Oh, uh-oh. They'd be like, Carroll? Oh, shit. You know? And it was funny. Some women would say, yeah, we watch Carroll for football and watch DeMatha for basketball. Any old heads like listening and from that area, they know what I'm talking about back then. Now it's just the math, or I don't even know what it is now. I think it's good counsel or something. But yeah, but you had to have that rap. But that was just it. You had to have that rap, and I had a combination of both, because Rom had a reputation. I could chop it up with the women. Now it wasn't where it could have been, but for high school it was enough. I mean, I had room for improvement. And it's funny, at the time, comparatively, I thought I was a nice guy. I didn't realize it was until years later I realized a lot of guys didn't have it. But because you said Carroll, and then you said Carroll football. Oh yeah, that was top of the pyramid. But if you said just Carroll, then it's like, oh, okay, let me talk to him a little bit, right? So you had to have that rap, and that was the big thing. What kind of rap you had? We didn't say mouthpiece. They say mouthpiece now. And back at the time, hip hop wasn't that big where they were emphasizing pimps. So, pimps kind of were doing their own thing back then. But, we just still said rap. You had to be able to talk to a woman, right? That was a game. Could you sweet talk her out of those panties? That was a thing. That's when you were held to high degree. Now, if you had some other status beyond that, usually, for me, it was a whole, just the high school. But, somebody else at maybe another high school, they had to be pretty much big man on campus. They had to be in the sport that was popular, or, just the coolest kid, whatever, most popular. And it depends on the school, too. Also, social class. You get a lower class school, it might be, who was the baddest, who was the biggest fighter. It was more upper class or something, maybe who the class president is. It depends. Everything is different, but it's still that thing of status. And it wasn't really until I finished with my total education, high school and, college, postgraduate, and all that stuff, that I really found out whether or not I really had game. Because I didn't lean on any status. If I met somebody, I'd just say, oh yeah, I'm just doing this. And that's when I found out. And that's the game, right? That's how you measure your game. Because you get a lot of people now. It's funny when you see some guys, they lead with their business cards. Because I used to go to a lot of parties and stuff. And even now, you still see it now. People lead with their business cards or what they're doing. They basically leading with their status. So that's the extent of their game. But it's not the top level. The top level of game is really if you could pull a woman just based off who you are wearing a t-shirt and sweats. And I use that analogy a lot, but that's the truth. You can't lean on it because, you see it, and especially it got to be like a nondescript t-shirt. It can't be like a polo t-shirt and some polo sweats or something. She's still going to see money. And it can't be like, I don't even know what the shoes are, Jordans or something. You still got to have, if you can pull a woman wearing some Walmart type shoes, like tennis shoes or something, have some, not gray sweats, they go crazy over gray sweats, just some regular nondescript, no name sweats, and just a regular t-shirt with no name on it. Shoot, that's the highest level of game. Because the thing that's pulling a woman is a combination of your looks, charisma, and how you talking. And really, I'm going to tell you the truth. Since most dudes, there's only going to be a small percentage of dudes going to pull a woman just pure looks anyway. Their looks going to be on another level, right? And those are usually some cats trying to model or something, right? Now, if you basically you still had to hit her with the men in my brotherhood we call the pleasure. You still had to spit that hot fire. You had to spit that game. You had to talk to her, get that connection, get her interested. You had to hit her ears with that verbal aphrodisiac. But that's how you measure it, though. That's how you know that you got game. Now, if you can't do that, then that's what you need to work on. Because see, here's the problem with money and status. That shit changed up quick. Because there's been plenty of dudes. There's plenty of men out there can say they got some women, but you know what? They were making a high salary. They had the big job and everything. Then all of a sudden that changed and that woman was out. I mean, there's been divorces behind that. And that's how I do to know. See, a woman, I'm going to tell you what, y'all. And Alan Roger Curry has definitely said this. A few other people. I'm going to say it because I still don't. Because even when I've said this in past videos, you still get some commenter who will say, nah, you just need money. Or you just need. No. If you got to spend money, your game is not at the top level. Because really, you're dealing with an acculturated prostitute. You're dealing with a sex trader. She's trading her vagina for your money. And see, the problem with that is you ain't going to get the best from her. And I've heard women actually say this. I've heard several women over the years actually say, you ain't going to get the best. What she going to do? And I've even heard some guys that say the woman was doing this, and, I ain't had a heart to tell them. I was like, dude, she really wasn't feeling you. Get some women, you could, pay for a lot of stuff. They'll got their legs open. And basically, in their mind, they just letting you do your business. But see, you want to get to that point where she just absolutely lusts you. You just turn her on, open her up, where she'll do whatever. That's the key. That's the key right there. That's how you measure it. If you can you can be dead broke, standing at a bus stop, no car, tell her you sleeping on your your sister's couch or something. You between jobs and she still feeling you. Boom. Because really all she wants at that point, she just wants the sex. That's how you know. That's why you get there. Now a lot of guys, it's tough to get there. And, I tell guys, hey, still work on that economic thing. But here's the key. What I'm saying. If you're going to do that economic thing, you ain't doing it for her. You're doing it for yourself so you can live. Trust me, you'll be a lot more relaxed if you got a nice surroundings. Don't do it to impress the women. I'm going to emphasize that you doing that for yourself because, like I said, if you coming out your pocket with something, oh, shoot, she going to milk it. Because like I said earlier, that's how I learned the game. A man's game is to get the pussy without having to spend money. That's the ultimate level. A woman's game is to get as much out of you as possible without having to give up the pussy. That's her thing. Because, like I said, if she want to fuck you, she going to fuck you. And that's just it. And I just want y'all to think about that. And like I said, I seriously might just get Alan Roger. Because you know what? I know people, he probably get on some people's nerves when he does some of those videos, those admonishments. But he be just on some raw shit. And quite frankly, I'm just going to be real. And this is part of the thing I'm doing with Patreon. In fact, I got to get used to promoting it. I got a new, for those of y'all who are on Patreon, check it out. I got a new video up today. For those of y'all who who aren't there, check it out. Get on there. That's when I'm getting just raw and dirty. I'm giving y'all that raw street game. I ain't going to get deep, metaphysical, talk about energy and all that shit. And that's just going to give y'all the raw locker room game. So check it out. Check out what I got up today. Right? But, yeah, that's how you measure your game. Seriously, it's a very simple measurement. What you have to do to get it. If you got to give resources or make promises and all of that, okay, that knows you got something to work on. If all you had to do was just show up and pretty much, you want to get to the point, really. Because there's even a level higher than like using your rap or, mouthpiece or whatever. You want to get to the level like they just handing you the shit. They trying to seduce you. That's really the highest level. All right? That's really, in fact, I think I'm going to do, fuck that. I'm going to do that on my Patreon. I'm writing that down now. Highest level. That's really the highest level. The women are actively trying to seduce you. That's when you know. That's when everything turned. That's when you got total control over that shit. All right. So, anyway, that's it for today. I'll holler at y'all later. Peace.